Hi, I'm Sidney Franklin here with That's My Entertainment and all the creators of Legion M. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know, but this is, I would say, probably the coolest studio that's out right now.
On the planet,
I
maybe?
concur.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think it's unanimous.
Yeah, all right, we've agreed. You
Great,
heard it
settled.
first.
End of interview.
Studio on the planet.
No, wait.
The universe or the planet?
I would say the universe, but I don't know if like internet
Hard
is
to
like
conclude.
That's true.
exactly.
That's true.
But I mean, like from my knowledge, definitely the universe. But with everyone at home, can you explain to them exactly what is Legion M?
Sure. So
Take this.
Legion M is we're the world's first fan-owned entertainment company. So we are uniting fans from around the world to co-own our company alongside of us. And so in a way, it's kind of like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, the way we are uniting people together to back our company. But it's different. It's next level because in our case, you're actually owning shares of the company. It's not like you get a coffee mug or a T-shirt and some bragging right that you're, involved. You literally own shares. So we have a community of shareholders that we keep in very constant contact with, and they have a voice in what we do together because Legion M is founded on the one basic principle that we believe in what we call the immeasurable power of fans. We think fans are the life and energy behind entertainment, and so we think opening the gates to Hollywood, allowing them to co-own the studio together with us is a recipe for success.
Listening to some of the panels here at Comic-Con, I see all of these fans come up and ask all these really interesting questions to the actors and the creators, and even sometimes I see that the creators are even stumped. And I feel like you guys are kind of creating an answer to that kind of like loophole where an audience member might come up with an idea that'll spark a whole new.
Go ahead.
If you want to add to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, fans hold all of the power in the entertainment industry. Like, we're the ones that buy the tickets, we're the ones that pay the Netflix subscriptions and decide what we're going to watch on a Tuesday night. And so each one of us individually is just like a consumer. But if we band together, there's literally nothing that we can't do. And so our whole premise, the whole idea behind this is that if you have a movie studio or a television and, or virtual reality projects that are owned by a large legion of fans, that you've got a huge head start and a huge competitive advantage against the rest of the industry. So our logo, the M with the bar over it, is the Roman numeral for 1 million, because our long-term goal for Legion M is to have 1 million fans as co-owners of the company. And if we're able to achieve that, we'll have hundreds of millions of dollars to develop our projects, and more importantly, 1 million fans standing behind them. And we feel that if we can do that, we could literally be one of the most influential companies in Hollywood.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you have 1 million people who are guaranteed to know and love the movie already because they're already so immersed in it.
They're engaged in it, yeah, and they played a role in creating it, and they've been there when we, bought the script or we signed the director, and we want to take our investors along for the ride. It's not like, it's interesting because a lot of bankers and Wall Street, or venture capitalists look at us and go, "You want 1 million shareholders? That sounds like a nightmare." And we say, "No, actually, that sounds like nirvana to us." It takes a lot of work to manage a community like that, but it's where we get our strength. And it can be really extremely valuable for us as a company, as Jeff pointed out, not just in promoting and launching the projects and helping them succeed, but also in discovering and in the production process. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities where, we'll allow the director or the creator access to the community to answer questions or to get feedback on things early before they go to market. And those are things that the traditional studios pay a lot of money, to focus groups or whatever, and they end up with people that are paid to give them an answer. But in our case, we're putting those questions out there, and the people that are answering it are on the same side of the table as we are. They have a vested interest in us being successful because we share the success together. And so we know we're getting genuine responses from people that, first of all, care and want us to be informed the way we should be when we're creating these things.
I was looking around and I saw that Stan Lee absolutely loved your idea and was a little disappointed in the fact that he didn't come up with it on his own.
Yes.
So
I'm proud that we thought of something Stan didn't think of.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's
Really.
an
That's
accomplishment.
incredible.
So is there a project that you might be working with Stan on in the future by chance?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We actually have a couple of
have
things
one already in the
that
can.
we've done with Stan. But we did a virtual reality experience with Stan. We filmed it about 4 or 5 months ago, and what it is you put on the virtual reality goggles and you are in Stan's home, like literally in his man cave where he hangs out.
He's okay
This
with
isn't
this.
like
Yes.
CGI. This is
Okay,
No.
actually,
you're not actually there. This is virtual reality
well,
still.
it is
No.
virtual reality, but we shot the footage. It's actual camera footage.
In his house.
Oh, wow.
In his house. So we set up for the day there. Kevin Smith came in to do the interview, and you put on those goggles, and I'm the viewer. You're Stan Lee. This is Kevin Smith, and we've got about an hour and a half long interview where Kevin talks to him about the origin of Spider-Man, what it was like to work with Jack Kirby during the golden age of comics, and as well as kind of the bigger life questions, like what's the hardest day of your life and how did you get through it? And what's the secret to a marriage that spanned almost 7 decades? And it's absolutely incredible film or footage, and it's captured in this breathtakingly high fidelity, so that if you use VR today, you know that when you put it on, like, it's really cool and it's very immersive, but it's a little bit like being trapped in a Sony Trinitron TV from 1994. It's just like, it's not quite there yet. Like, you know that you're wearing a mask. But within the next few years, you'll put that thing on and it will be visually imperceptible from real life. And that's the fidelity that we captured it in, so that people 100 years from now will have the ability to sit down and know what it's like to spend an hour with one of the icons of our time.
This is what Icons is all about. It's about capturing not just another interview with an icon, but capturing the interview that will stand the test of time. This is the interview that, how often do we go back and look at, standard definition? When we try to watch that content, we're just like, oh, I wish I could watch this interview with Martin Luther King in a higher, fidelity, so I could really feel like I can see him. And that's what we're doing. We're living in an age right now where we can capture the footage at the resolution that meets the threshold of the human eye. So we can, and as Jeff pointed out, we don't have the ability, in the consumer grade VR goggles just yet, but it's coming.
You can't see it because
Yeah.
there literally does not exist a VR headset or even IMAX. If you played this on an IMAX screen, the footage we have is bigger than that, right?
It's 4 times the resolution
yeah.
of IMAX.
So there's no way for anybody to even view it yet, but we built this because Stan is 94 years old and one of the icons of our time, and we wanted to capture this and immortalize him now, even though VR is at the beginning of its arc, but we have every expectation that it's gonna go to there, and when it does, we own a piece of it, and if you're an investor in Legion M, you own a little piece of that as well, which is really cool.
The other thing that I'll point out with our Icons interview, we asked if we could also interview Joan, his wife Joan, who recently passed, sadly, and I think we're really moved. We were extremely moved by the conversation that Kevin Smith had with Joan, talking about her life with Stan, and we're just so grateful to have that footage, especially now, weeks away from her sadly passing, and that's something that
Really,
we captured, and it's there.
it magnifies the importance of it. We've got Stan and Joan describing the day that they met and fell in love, and it's just a wonder. And it was some of the most poignant footage at the
We
time.
were all tears in our eyes.
Yeah,
and
and now I can't even imagine,
Yeah.
what it would be like. So.
I mean, after hearing that, I feel kind of bad that we aren't giving our viewers like the best experience possible. Perhaps Legion N can help us out later.
An 8K camera.
We're also not Stan Lee, so
This
Not yet, not yet.
This would be called goofball.
yeah, exactly. That's
So one of you helped out Disney, am I right, in creating some of the magic that happens there?
Well, I used to be a theme park engineer. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
That is a little bit what I was hinting towards.
It wasn't Disney. It was Universal Studios.
Oh, that's
if you ever go on Jurassic Park the ride,
never heard of it. I'm so joking. I have a picture of that as a kid,
Yes.
and if you ever looked up the picture that's next to the word terror, it has my face there.
is it the picture like that it automatically takes
Oh,
when
yes.
you're going down the
Yep.
drop? I
Yeah.
didn't even know. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I'm like my.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
then my job was done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving me nightmares.
He terrorizes me every day, so I know the feeling.
Will you be like? You're talking about this whole new virtual reality world. Are you even considering possibly opening up Legion M to maybe creating this new technology that you'll be able to view on your own, or is that a little bit outside of what you're doing right now?
I would say that, for us, we're about creating content and creating entertainment content. We did push the boundaries of technology in what we shot for Icons, and so there is a little bit of technological magic that we had to create because no one has done this before. But at our core, we're a content company. I mean, we're not trying to be a technology company. Jeff and I have a background in technology. Our first company was very successful in creating new technology to expand television into phones and PCs and iPads and things. But what we're like, Icons is just one of our projects. We're also invested in Colossal, the Nacho Vigalando's movie with Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis, came out earlier this year. And we've got an investment in we're the executive producers of a horror film called Field Guide to Evil that comes out in 2018. And we've got a couple of other television series that we're pitching, one of which is called the Pitch Elevator, where we bring an actual prop elevator to cons like this. And we allow people to come into the elevator. You step in, you know what an elevator pitch is, right? So you get in the elevator and there's a cameraman and it's all wired with microphones and cameras, and you give your pitch for a movie or TV show or virtual reality project, and then we take all those pitches and we let our Legion, our community, vote on them, and then the finalists get to present and pitch their idea to a panel of top industry executives, and from that we select one to have a development deal with Legion M. And so this is another example. It's content that we're creating, and it'll be like a digital series, but it's also our promise to the community, which is we want to open the gates to Hollywood. We want people to be involved. We also feel like anyone can have a good idea for a TV show or a movie, but most people don't have the access or know the right people to get it produced. And so that's another element of our company that we want to share.
This really feels like a safe way for, like what you're saying, anyone like who has, I have this really great idea, or this this crazy story happened to me in my real life. I think that this would be a great movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, before you guys, no one would ever have heard it. So,
well, it was fantastic because we had over 400 submissions for that pitch elevator project, and a lot of them are really, really good. Like, it's really incredible. And right now, all of our Legion of investors are going through and rating them and evaluating them. And like Paul said, we're going to narrow it down to the top 10. And we also package this whole thing up as a TV show pitch and are pitching it to networks so that we could
We've got some good traction.
do this as, how cool if there was like an American Idol for movie pitches, and if you win the show, your movie gets made. It's kind of a fun idea.
it's more than kind of a fun idea. It's a really fun idea. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, as a kid, I think of like, it'd be so cool and it's real. So here's another question for you. This is a
Put on his tough question face.
I leaned in. I did
exactly.
Yeah. So you guys are going for $1 million.
Yes.
Of these investors.
Yep.
Legionites was like
The Legion.
the legions.
Legionnaires, Legionemmers.
How many do you have? Can you tell me how many you have so far? How many do we need to go?
Yeah.
Well, Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll tell it.
So right now we've got about 5,000 people that have invested in the company. We've raised almost $3 million. And this is all from fans. And there's a website that you can go to, and you can do it today for, at least until this
what's
round
the website?
closes. Oh, it's thelegionm.com is our website, and then it'll direct you. There's a funding portal. It's kind of like Kickstarter, where all the people run their campaigns, and so it's called WeFunder, and that's where ours is. But you can also join for free. So, we have this idea that, a lot of people want to invest, and you can co-own a piece of the company. And it's really like, it's a historic opportunity, because you couldn't do this before the Jobs Act. People just were not allowed to invest in startup companies. But this is a legitimate startup investment swing for the fence, right? If you had invested in Facebook when they were our size, you would have had about a 3,000x return on your investment, which means that $100 investment in Facebook, would be worth $300,000 today. So that's an extreme example, because Facebook is one of the most successful companies of all time, but it's not off of the table. I mean, if we're able to even come up and be a tenth as big as Facebook, and then it would only be worth $30,000, so it's a legitimate swing for the fences sort of investment. But we also wanted to make it open for people that, maybe they want to check it out. They want to see what it's like, or maybe for some reason they can't invest or they don't want to invest, but they still like this idea of being a part of a fan-owned company and a movement and a part of we have an amazing community of shareholders that you can sign up for free, and you can join the Legion, and if you at some point decide that you want to invest, that's great too.
So all told, I think we have about 10,000 people that have.
It's about 15,000.
15,000 total. So we have about 5,000 investors and about 10,000 members, people that have just signed up to kind of learn more and follow along. And
it's, we're in the early days, but I mean, already we're seeing, the ability for us to get into an Anne Hathaway, Jason Sudeikis movie was huge. Earlier this week, we did a handprint ceremony at the TCL Chinese Theater, where Stan Lee put his hands in cement at the theater. And this one was the first one in the 90-year history that they've been doing it, that it was done by fans, or that the honor was presented by fans as opposed to a studio that was promoting a film. And so it just shows that even though we're in our infancy, the company's only been around for a year, but when you've got that many fans behind you, people take notice and they listen, and it opens doors. And if we can get, let alone 1 million, once we get to 10,000, 50,000, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I mean, just to point that out, I mean, less than a year ago, we were at Comic-Con, and we were brand new. We had our first shareholder meeting at Comic-Con last year. We had launched earlier that year at the Silicon Valley Comic-Con, and we had some good traction. We got some great press, and we had a lot of people kind of interested. And when we opened our round, there was good activity with it. But when we had our shareholder meeting here, there were maybe 30, 40 people that came. We didn't have a panel. We didn't have, much else going on. We had a party. This year, a year later, we have a panel with Stan Lee, Felicia Day, and Adam Savage, with a line that wrapped around the room twice and went outside. Over 1,000 people ended up waiting in line.
And in fairness, some of those people were here to see Stan.
Well, I don't know. No, but just the idea that we just launched last year, and now we're already doing panels with Stan Lee and Felicia Day and Adam Savage. And, as Jeff pointed out, what we did earlier this week was truly historic. And, we have a background. We've started companies before, and we know how they grow, and they kind of inch along, and then they pop. And, we're at that, where it's the top of the first inning for us, but we feel like this has come together faster than any other company we've been involved in. And the support that we've had from our community has been phenomenal. I mean, it's really exceeded our expectations, and we dream large. So we're really excited about the future for Legion M.
Yeah, I'm excited for both of you guys. This is I want to see where you guys go. I want to see the next movie. I'm so excited.
We've got a lot in store. There's several things queued up. I mean, we've been really focused on the Stan Lee event for the last couple months, but now we've got several other announcements that we're going to be making in the next couple weeks.
So come join the Legion.
Yeah, yeah. Let's all join the Legion.
Let's all join the Legion. Yeah, Jeff said it earlier, which is, look, our company is almost like getting everyone at Comic-Con to to just buy
Let's
in
just
and let's
pitch
go
in and
buy
buy
a
a movie studio. You know,
Yeah.
that's
and
what
I
we're
mean,
doing.
if everyone, Jeff pointed this out, but 1 million shareholders, and if right now the average investor puts about $500 to $600 in, so when we reach 1 million, we'll have $500 to $600 million to invest in projects that have 1 million people already following them. You know, that's really incredible, and you know, we're not going to stop till we get there.
I don't want you to. Please don't stop.
Yeah.
See, no, that's my entertainment. What's yours?
Yeah.